It's the most talked about TV show that's not on TV.
And I think you guys are amazing.
With raw, honest opinions.
This was not a mistake. This was a lie.
Exclusive stories.
Some industry insiders have been talking about this.
Is that a Ben Robin Robbo exclusive?
And plenty of famous faces.
I'm not wasting these gold moments on 60 Minutes.
The Ben Robin Robbo Show is the new way to stream your news.
This is the stuff that headlines are made of.
Live every Monday to Thursday at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Ticker TV or Facebook and Twitter at BRR Show. Watch live or on demand. Ben Robin Robbo. Streaming across the globe, Ben Norris, Rob McKnight and David Robinson. Ben Robin Robbo. It's the Ben Robin Robbo, Ben Robin Robbo Show. Ben Robin Robbo Show. Welcome to the Ben Robin Robbo Show. Here's Rob McKnight.
I have to go. We're about to do the Ben Robin Robbo. Put the show on and then you can see me. Hello. Hello, how are we? Welcome to the Ben Robin Robbo Show on Tipsy Thursday. Bit of a joke there.
Hell.
Ben and Robbo are with me. Hello, boys. Oh, Ben's on the phone too.
Hi.
Who are you talking?
Is this... Hang on a sec. Sorry, I'm in the middle of doing a show. Okay, I've got to go back.
What the hell?
Do you know
Am I having a stroke?
Hi.
What the hell is going on?
Do you know what I love? Poor Robbo's the only one with no one to talk to.
Who are you on the phone
I can
to?
talk to my wine glass.
I've made myself laugh.
Well, at least you did, because that first phone joke didn't make anyone laugh.
Robbo, do you want to sit on a book or something? You look like you're slouched down. Like, we just want to lift you up a little bit, like metaphorically.
Oh, for God's sake.
Okay, this is fun. Yay!
I just got to.
There you go.
I just got to.
Actually, I should go down.
Eye from that last put down from Robbo. I'm not crying. I'm not crying.
Happy to be here, guys.
Welcome
Really
to
happy to be
Thursday.
here.
It's a big day. We've got plenty of hot button issues to talk about. I'm really excited about this. We are going to meet the guy who shot My Octopus Teacher. If you've seen this on Netflix or if you saw it on Gogglebox, you will know what I'm talking about. It's an amazing, amazing documentary. It surpasses anything and is such a journey, and we've got the guy who made that. We're also, Channel 10 have just launched their big upfronts and showcasing what they've got in store next year. Ben will be taking us through that. But speaking of Channel 10, there's really big developing news on Fiona O'Loughlin, the comedian who was on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. She's in trouble. And we'll be talking about that as well. But first, let's get into our hot button issues. And a Melbourne truck driver has been identified as the person who spread coronavirus in 2 regional towns in Victoria. The driver, who has not been named, had a permit to travel for work, but didn't report to contact tracers a visit to Shepparton on September 30. As a result, he has now infected his elderly father, his partner, his son, and numerous people in the community. The Shepparton Showgrounds has been set up as a testing site, and it reached capacity this morning within 30 minutes of opening. Robbo, this is just plain selfish, isn't it?
Yeah, well, look, he didn't know. As soon as he found out that he was near someone, he then put himself, he went and got himself tested and quarantined. He did go to a cafe, which he shouldn't have done. He should have only gone to takeaway. He didn't know that he had it. Sorry, that he had it. But once he did all the right things. Once he knew that he had been in close contact with someone, he did all the right things and quarantined, got tested.
No, he didn't do all the right things. He lied because he spent 3 hours at a cafe, which he did not declare. He only had a permit to use the takeaway section of the cafe, spent 3 hours there, and then lied to contact tracers.
Yeah, well, he didn't know that he had it at that point, though, I guess. But yeah, I get your point.
But when he did get it, he lied because he knew he'd cop a fine.
Alrighty.
No, come on. We keep talking, Ben, don't we, about everyone wants things to open. People do the wrong thing. They don't wear masks. They cluster in groups, and then they say, "Why, Dan Andrews? Sack Dan Andrews because we want freedom." Well, people are bloody idiots. This guy put a whole community at risk, and he feels guilty about his father. Well, that's great. How about you feel guilty for lying to the government and infecting and possibly infecting a whole town. And we could have cut this thing off much sooner if you had not lied. You are a piece of scum.
I think of a lot of things when I see and hear you talk like that. First of all, I'm just going to scratch my nose. There we go. I'm back. I think I feel bad for the people of Shepparton. I think that must be really difficult for them. I always start to sympathise with someone when they start to feel guilty. But at the end of the day, he really did do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And like, what we need to talk about is how we all feel superhuman. We all think we can get away with something, don't we? Like, me back to when I was a kid and I thought I could get away with my overdue fines at Blockbuster Video. You can't. You can't get out of these things. You've got to do the right thing. We're talking about coronavirus, and most of the times people don't even show symptoms. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we just need to be really focused on doing what is right and following those guidelines, because once it gets to this point where I can sympathize with this man about his family, it's a little too late, isn't it?
Yeah, but, you know, I have sympathy for anyone who gets this virus, but he has put more people at risk because he didn't disclose information. In fact, people are angry and think the government should have done a better job at contact tracing. Have a look at this report from Christina Hearn on the Today Show this morning.
They are angry, Ali, and they are also frustrated because they do tell me that this, of course, this pandemic has been going for a while, and they believe that officials should have been ready should something like this happen. There's also anger because, yes, the truckie didn't say the right thing. The truckie didn't tell the truth. But why? Did contact tracers not go the next step and be aggressive? There's talk that they will do that now, but has it all come too late for these people here in Shepparton?
So now we hold the government responsible, Robbo, when people are shit duggeries. You know, like, I want to show you another thing, because there's a whole thing going on today.
Wait, just before you go on, are we going to talk about the fact that there was no social distancing there?
Yeah,
are we going to have there was no social distancing at all.
I agree with you. It's like the lineup.
So
I refuse
if
to
the
go
truck,
to Bunnings when
if the
everyone's
truck
lining
driver
up
is an
outside.
idiot, if the truck driver is shit duggery, whatever the word you use, then so are all of those people.
I agree.
They're breaking the rules.
I agree. Completely agree with you.
Okay.
But
And it does go back to what I'm saying, though, guys. Like, I think we all feel superhuman. We all are ready to sort of break the rules a little bit. And then you find yourself in these situations and everyone points the finger. This is the thing. And this is where it gets really tricky, because the government can't be held accountable and responsible 100% every time. Yes, there are things in place. Yes, in hindsight, they could do different things. And we all get to play that role, don't we? Like, at the moment, we're all sitting at home. We follow the news. We listen to what this is. And then when we gather the facts, we're like, oh, it's as clear as day. And let me tell you, you know, when you rewatch Murder, She Wrote and you know who the killer is, it's so much easier to put the episode together. And I think that's what's kind of happening.
this is really riling me up, just in case you couldn't tell. But it's like, I'm a dickhead. Why isn't the government stopping me from being a dickhead? You're a dickhead. You know, you're putting lives at risk. Just be honest. I'm so over it. I'm so over this entitled attitude everyone has that the government's to fault, the government's at fault, the government's at fault. You know, oh, sure, I'm doing the wrong thing, but that's the government's fault. Like, grow up, Australia. Seriously, this is a pandemic like we've never seen in 100 years, and you're being idiots. Sorry, Amanda's got a
Robbo,
head in her
do you want to talk
hands.
about...
I know I've gone too far.
No. I think you've done... Look, I just really like it. I saw it the other day, and someone said it in our comment section. Sometimes I just, even though there's no filter on you, I see steam coming out of your head like an animated film, and I just wish that we had that filter on you sometimes that Robbo and I would press when you start to lose your mind. We just press the steam button, and then we see it come out of your head, and then life would be complete. It would be so good.
Shirts. I should hang my shirts next to me for the show and just steam them while I'm going off. Look, I'll show you this last bit. A Melbourne cyclist has been stopped for not wearing a mask, and I'm sure there's outrage about this. However, even though it's mandatory to wear one when out and about in public, people don't have to when exercising. Have a look at this exchange.
Exercising.
No, you're not.
What am I doing?
You're not exercising. Do you have any idea?
I'm exercising.
No, you're not, mate.
What is riding a bike?
You're riding a bike and you're standing here, you're stopping and you're filming it all.
No, I'm not. I'm riding a bike.
No, you're not, mate.
I've got it on footage.
You're stopping the whole time along here. That's not exercising.
No, I'm running.
Exercising is continuously going. Do you have any idea?
Is that the rule? Is it continuous?
Do you have any idea on your
No, I don't.
Okay, no worries. What's your first name?
Thanks.
Yeah, sorry. What's your last name?
Shall I put this on?
If you could, yeah, that'd be fantastic, please. I'm going to leave you with these guys here and you're going to give them their details. Okay? He's riding around without a mask on and he's stopping you.
Fair enough. But I know that you don't have to wear a mask while exercising. Well, Robbo, the woman kindly pointed out this cyclist has been stopping and taking footage. That's not exercising.
Yeah, but okay, first of all, she's a police officer, so chill the hell out. We've got a bit of a power trip happening here. I would never give my details to a security guard.
Well,
I don't care what you
now,
think.
So it's all good, isn't it?
Yeah, but if they hadn't turned up, what was going to happen there? I don't agree with this at all. I think this is way too heavy-handed. You really need the public to be on your side. This doesn't look like that. If he was stopping and actually stopping, then fine. But
That's
I would
what she
also
said.
be really
she made
interested.
The point. He's been circling and stopping.
Yeah, but you can circle. I would need to take a break. Oh, hold on. Oh, so everyone on a bike is at peak physical condition to stop a few times if I was riding a bike, but we're just going to assume that he was stopping and starting. I think she was power hungry.
That he was continuously stopping. He wasn't riding his bike as an exercise. He was getting from location to location to be able to shoot. He was stopping here, going 5 meters, stopping there, getting some shots, moving forward.
Well, we don't know that. We're just basing that off her assumption. Oh my God, she's never been power hungry.
Why
she's
do we
never.
always doubt the people in power?
Of course, because she's a security guard. She's power hungry.
Press the steam button. Press the steam button.
Hold on. No. I hate it when you do this. I'm really actually angry now. Do not say that I've just said that she's a piece of shit.
You said
because
she's
not
a
one
security
time.
guard, so she can't be believed.
Oh, so how is that calling someone a piece of shit?
Well,
really bad, Rob. Really poor.
She made a statement which the cyclist did not say wasn't correct. She made a statement that he was stopping continuously. He didn't.
She was
say
exercising.
That was incorrect information. And now you're saying, how can we believe her?
Well, this is my opinion, and I did never say that she was a piece of. Stop doing that.
Well, but you're saying she can't be believed. Why? Because she's a security officer? What's the reason she can't be believed?
He's just defending himself because no, you did not. And you know,
that's right.
Piece of shit is actually it's a quote that should be on a McKnight t-shirt because that you use. It's not a phrase that Robbo uses. Just for a bit of clarity. I've never heard him say that. I've heard you say that. I said it should be on a t-shirt. Well, look, I'm telling you now, I can understand where you both are coming from here, and I think there's some real validity in it. I think sometimes as well, if you've had a really bad altercation with a security guard in your past, sometimes when you now see security guards doing this, and I feel bad about saying this, I don't want to throw all security guards under the bus, but I kind of want to ask Robbo the question, have you ever been mistreated or heavy-handed by a security guard? Because to me, it seems like you're coming from maybe a personal experience. Could I be right?
No, it's not. It's just because of the way that she dealt with him. Also, he offered the footage straight away, Rob. So he was prepared to give over the footage to this woman to point out that he was not stopping and starting, that he was riding his bike around that area. So I guess if he was doing anything wrong, he wouldn't offer the footage up.
Let's talk about clarity here, guys. The clarity here
she doesn't have the footage. Well, I'm just saying, like, he's got the footage and he gave it. No, Rob.
I can hear people saying ring the bell.
The footage. No. Wait. Before you ring it, though, do you agree with that, Rob? Though, is that an all right point? The fact that he offered to give the vision.
Yeah, I suppose so, Robbo. But,
yeah. That's all right. Ring the bell now. That's all I need. Next topic.
No, I just want to. My thing was, I just want to finish my point as to why I was saying the word clarity, and that is that it is quite blurred. And I must admit, being in Melbourne through stage 4 lockdown, I try and do my exercise. Are you yawning while I'm doing this? Is that all right? Okay, fair enough.
No, I cough. Can you hear the cough?
I know. I only heard it in the playback. I heard.
No, I'm exasperated. That's what I am.
Oh.
Anyway, What I was going to say is when I've been exercising, there is a blurred line between when you finish the run and then you start to walk out. And I've seen people say, you're not wearing a mask to others, not me, but to others saying you're not wearing a mask. And they said, I've just finished a run. So look, people are calling each other out and people are probably taking things a little bit more serious than others. But I think that the clarity needs to be very specific. If you're on a bike, the mask is on.
Putting a mask on. Pure and simple. And, you know, we keep making excuses for people doing the wrong thing. Today, Samantha Armitage on Sunrise said a business owner was good on him for going against the government restrictions and opening his business and being possibly subjected to a $10,000 fine. Everyone's an exception. Everyone's coming up with an excuse why they don't need to do the wrong thing, but then we blame the government when it gets worse. It's BS. All right, let's move on. Even though the median wage...
I kind of agree with that.
Oh, good.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what happened there? I'll just break it down really quickly. What happened there? A little steam came out because I've started my intro, and then he processed a little bit. I don't know, he's agreeing. All right, I'll start the music and we'll... No, you did make me come around on that. That's actually true.
Because you agreed with me, you don't get a strike.
Yes? Yeah, but you're right. If he is stopping and starting, then play by the rules. You've turned me over. I agree with that. So because he needs to catch his breath, on the mask. If he's in motion, off the mask.
Look at that. Within all
you got
that
me around.
ranting and arguing, we actually found common ground on a couple of points there. So you made some valid points. I made some valid points, and then there was Ben. That was a joke.
That's me.
All right, all the Ben fans.
Guys, it just about sums it up.
No, all the Ben fans, that was a playful joke. I love Ben. Just a joke.
Oh, I love Ben too.
Just a joke.
Yeah, just joking.
Comedic purposes. Can
I just say, I want to clarify something with you. You always talk about these people being the Ben fans. They're all of our fans. They're all writing on there. But the difference is, I like and comment on what they say because I want to interact with them. You guys could do that after the show too.
No, I'm doing that now. I'm getting on the Facebook and doing that. You see little comments. It's usually about midnight that I finally get to it, and I say, "Oh, I like that, Rob. I don't like that." I'm getting on there.
Yeah.
I'm getting better.
That's good.
All right. Even though the median wage in Australia is $60,000 a year, the Prime Minister believes those earning $180,000 aren't rich. Scott Morrison made the comments in Queensland when being grilled about the proposed tax cuts to high earners. His comments have divided voters who believe that anyone on that kind of money is actually doing very well. Labor opposition leader has hinted that he may abolish tax cuts for the rich if he wins the next federal election. That would be Anthony Albanese we're talking about there. Ben, is the PM right? Is $180,000 not that much?
What is he talking about? It's like Scrooge McDuck before he dives into his money. Oh, that's not a lot of money. Whee! Like, at the end of the day, $180,000 is a shitload of money to the average Australian, and it just goes to show you that the pay packet that he is on has made him completely tone deaf to the rest of the country. Yes, he's not a bazillionaire and like whatever, but like to the small, not even small, I don't want to use that because that's like really derogatory, but to the average Joe who is me, and it's you two as well, that's a real slap in the face, don't you think, from some
I'm going to go against the grain. I know
maniac.
Robbo's opinion on this. I know Robbo's going to say $180,000 is a mega wage. But I'm going to tell you that it's a good wage, absolutely. But for any family in a middle-class system trying to get ahead and prepare for the future and not be available to tax cuts and incentives and things like that, $180,000 doesn't go as far as you think it might. And the simple fact is that it is a really good wage. I'm really not making any bones about that.
If you look at it from that angle, that's true. Like if you're looking at it from that perspective, yes, these days, I mean, when I won Big Brother, I won $250,000, and all these people said to me, "You're rich," and it's like, well, not really, because you can't really buy a house with it. That's right. So I guess if you're looking at it from that angle, yes, there is some clarity, but let's wake up, people. Let's think about the pandemic that we're going through. Let's look at the amount of people, the Aussies that are out of work, and then have that statement. You know, it's really irritating.
But I guess the point is, Robbo, and I'm waiting for you to fire up about this. You know, I just think, to me, you know, $250,000, $300,000 is a really good wage. You know, but to me, rich is like $500,000 plus. I'm not going to criticise people on $180,000. I'm just not going to.
No one's asking you to criticise anyone on $180,000. What we're criticising is the fact that the Prime Minister of this country, where the median wage is $60,000 a year and the combined household wage is just a bit less than $100,000 a year, we're having a go at that because that is tone deaf. When you consider that the vast majority of the population don't have that kind of money, don't earn that kind of money, and unfortunately will never be able to earn that money, that's the problem, Rob. We're not. The Prime Minister of Australia should not be saying, "Oh, 180 grand, please." Like,
but my
fine.
point is,
like,
it's not
that's
rich.
so unacceptable.
180 isn't rich, but the problem is that a
well,
lot
and
of
you tell that to
Australians
the people
are
on the
doing it a
$60,000.
lot harder. How people are living on 60 grand a year, I don't know how they would possibly be doing it because.
Well, a lot of people do, and it's not healthy.
I know.
That's just so to hear the Prime Minister saying that is disgusting.
Politicians get paid really well, and they could never live on the 60K a year or on government benefits that people have to live off. You know, like, I do believe that we should be helping people on welfare more. We should be helping, you know, like, I do believe that we are completely underfunded when it comes to the welfare of this country. And there's no politician in this country who could actually realistically live off the wages or the government handouts for people in need in this country. And yet they'll sit there and determine that they can. But all I'm saying is $180,000 on the other end is not rich.
I would kill for 180 grand. I'd kill for... no, you can use the word rich or not, but pensioners get $400 a week.
Sure,
I believe that anyone earning a huge amount of money should be taxed because we need to start paying. The divide happening between the people who have and have not is growing. So for this idea for a politician to come out and say 180 is not that much money is just this kind of idea of what you can't buy a couple of bottles of Verve, the Saturday afternoon barbecue. What? No, we can't. That's right, we cannot. So, and also pensioners living week to week or people, hold on, job seeker, job keeper, whatever, the normal, New Start allowance, pitiful, and yet these millionaires, these high-end earners are not being, no, forget about it. This is tone deaf and classic Liberal Party talk.
Well, you know what? I don't agree with that last part. I just agree with the fact
you wouldn't hear a Labor government talking like this. You wouldn't. You would
possibly.
Not. Labor cares for people. Liberal don't care for people.
There is also nothing wrong with every person in this country striving for a better wage, and you know everyone should be striving.
That's true,
for
but that's not what we're talking about. Here,
I know we're not talking about it. I'm just making the point that $180,000 is not, in the scheme of things, comparatively a lot of money. But I also agree with Robbo that we are completely underfunded when it comes to pensioners and JobKeeper and all those kind of things. I think we're in the middle ground. It's just that I don't consider 180,000 to be this cash cow that everybody thinks it is.
Robbo, I'm going to role play something with you. Can you pick up your phone if it's sitting there? I'm not sure if it is, but if it is, I'll just pretend it's ringing and I'll be like, hello, Robbo?
Hello? Now I'm getting a phone gag.
Just to let you know, the phone show has worked and we're going to role play that now. First off, you're getting paid $180,000 a year for being on the Ben, Rob and Robbo show from now on.
Oh, what?
Yes!
Oh my God. So I could afford clothes, I could afford nice food. Oh, that would be fantastic.
A lot of things. Press the steam button. Press the steam button.
That's me cutting their mics. Let's move on. And in what was meant to be a humorous campaign, I think that was meant to be humorous. Didn't quite hit, did it, Robbo? And Ben, you had to go at my phone gag at the top. And in what was meant to be a humorous campaign for National Noodle Day, mac and cheese brand Kraft have landed themselves in hot water. Have a look at the now deleted ad featuring Vanessa Bayer from Saturday Night Live.
In these strange times, people are in need of extra comfort. That's why it's always a nice gesture to send nudes, so they know you're thinking of them. Nudes, I mean, not nudes. I'm talking about nudes.
The ad was slammed as inappropriate, with customers complaining that Kraft is a family company, and some have even suggested the ad is a gateway to children actively sending nudes and teaching them that it's okay and even funny. Kraft responded saying, "We sincerely appreciate and hear all of your feedback. The content will be removed from our channels." Oh, Ben, the PC Brigade have struck again.
Yeah, it's the death of comedy. No one can do anything. Oh,
does anyone, or I'm sure that you, because you both don't watch SNL, but last year they did this skit where they had Harry Styles on the show, and he was supposed to be someone who writes the social media for Sara Lee. So Sara Lee being, you know, the dessert brand.
Yeah,
anyway, he kept mixing up. Well, you could do with a little bit less Sara Lee, to be honest. He kept mixing up the his own Instagram.
Me?
Oh, that's not me doing more fat shaming. That's me. Oh no.
Ben, that's bad. I'd punch you in the face.
No, don't say. Are you really fat shaming me on my very own show?
No. Look, my name comes first, so I can do whatever the F I want.
That's not bad. I like that.
Benjamin,
getting back to my
story. You had a go at Robbo
right.
and I last week for making fun of someone, and it wasn't even about physical appearances. Benjamin.
Anyway, what happened on this skit was he kept mixing up his own personal Instagram with Sara Lee's Instagram and was like demanding X-rated stuff. And it was hilarious. But this is the thing. Saturday Night Live is a show for adults that's played at nighttime. It's like a crazy thing for people to jump on the bandwagon here and say this is not good. And at a time like this, we need to laugh. And also, nudes. You know, for adults, that's on brand. People send nudes, and that's okay. Children, they shouldn't send nudes for a reason, and that's why it's not on in the morning time.
This is an ad aimed at the mums who are buying the mac and cheese. It's a bit of fun. It is not enticing or making kids send nudes to each other. No kid is going to watch that ad and go, "Oh, I think I'm going to get my boobs out." You know, like, that's just not going to happen. The simple fact is that it's a bit of comedy to appeal to the adults that, you know, put the brand top in mind for the mums and dads going down to the supermarket. I mean, give me a break. Thank God it's
and jokes like that go over kids' head. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rob. This is the continuing, like, kind of end of comedy, of having some fun. You know, I watched a little clip the other day about the Flintstones, and it was kind of showing that ever since then, there have been these two levels of comedy. There's been level, and there's been the other level. You know, Pixar movies do it, DreamWorks animated movies do it. They all do these kind of multi-layered things.
Yes.
This is fine. This is... you know, these are mummy bloggers. I can't stand mummy bloggers. These are mummy bloggers who are getting on the thing, going, "Oh, did you see what's happened? Blah, blah, blah." Meanwhile, she's sending a cheeky nip slip to the hubby who's away on business. And that's like, I just don't believe. I believe that if you haven't sent a nude or some sort of sexy pic, I don't believe you. Simple as that. This is ridiculous. Kraft, get some balls. Keep it out.
Actually, McKnight, have you ever sent a nude? Can we just get that? Oh, I know we've got to move on, but just a quick one.
No, it was before my time, mate. It was before my time.
Yeah?
Well, no, I accept that, though, actually. I accept that, yeah.
Well, it seems the days of passive-aggressive notes that chalk are drawn on the ground are over, as one resident in Western Australia found her parked car with a wheelie bin on top of it. The woman said she was unable to find a parking spot in front of her own house, so instead parked across the road. In retaliation, the neighbour put their bin full of rubbish on top of her car. The woman said she found it passive-aggressive. I wouldn't call it passive-aggressive. I'd just call that aggressive. Because there was plenty of room to put the bin around the car, and that she had to get her housemate to help her remove it so as not to cause any damage. Ben, the auto cue's asking me who's in the right here. What a tosspot of a neighbour. Sorry. Look, can we see that photo again, please, Amanda? You don't own the roads. You do not own the road outside your house. Put the wheelie bin next to the car. What an arrogant tosspot.
Oh no,
people are annoying me today.
No. Can I just, Robbo, do you want to go with this one first? I think you want to go this one
You
first.
guys are going to
happy.
defend the neighbour.
I kind of like this
I'd be
because I
friends with
hate
these
assholes
people.
who think that they
Yeah,
can
I
do
like
whatever they want to do. This is
Yeah.
fantastic. I'm all for this. Don't park right in front. Like, nah, I love it.
They didn't park in their driveway. They're parking in a legally designated spot to be able to park. There's no parking
Yeah, but
signs.
she's done this heaps of times before.
So what?
She has. And you know what? And you know what you're doing?
You don't
You're-
own
no, no.
the land outside your house.
Do the badger alert. It's a badgering. He's doing the badgering. Badger alert now. Oh, thank God he's... Oh, that all day. Oh, thank God. Oh, Amanda McKnight, you are absolutely brilliant. You are fantastic. Oh, she is brilliant. Oh, that was... Oh, give that woman a raise. She is fantastic.
Oh.
That was brilliant.
How is that ready to go? I still... Oh. Anyway.
She lives with him. She plays it many times a day. Oh, today is fun. Today is lots of...
I'm sorry. I actually cannot believe you guys are defending that arsehole who put a wheelie bin on their roof of their car, possibly damaging the car. That's not cool, man.
Oh, no. No, it's actually...
funny.
No, it's terrible.
Funny. I'd do that.
No, I mean... And,
No.
I mean, what are people coming to?
All right.
What's the world coming to, Rob? Gee, I just don't know, mate.
Maybe
Now,
I should
after we finish this show...
said out of this show, I actually woke up in a really good mood. I've been having a great day, and you two have pissed me off. People are pissing me off because you're
not
wrong.
really.
That's right, because it's because we're not agreeing with him. It's simply because we're wrong. No, that's fair enough.
All right. It's time for a bit of entertainment news. And this person, I'm really concerned about this person because they're one of Australia's greatest entertainment celebrities. Ben, what do you have for us?
Well, we've loved her as a comedian. We crowned her in the jungle, and now she's just taking her kid off on Channel 7's The All-New Monty, Guys and Girls. However, with millions of Aussies watching every move, when Fiona Loughlin was in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, she managed to keep a massive secret until now. She was chatting just yesterday to a journalist where she revealed that she fell off the wagon while filming I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Obviously, booze was not available in the South African jungle. However, she drank the hand sanitizer, which had alcohol in it, and managed to keep that a secret from cast and crew. Also, recently, she's opened up about the fact that she relapsed again while shooting the Channel 7 Full Monty. A friend of mine actually was working on that show and said that, obviously Fiona Loughlin was having a really bad time, during shooting that Monty show. But look, I will say that she is back on the road to recovery. What's interesting, this is what I want to ask the two of you, is are you both shocked at how honest Fiona O'Loughlin is? I'll go, Robbo, with you first. Are you shocked? And do we need to know, do you think that she should be sharing this sort of stuff with us? What do you think?
I'm not surprised that she's been this honest because she's been so honest before about her alcohol addiction. I think it's quite good to see someone who's very successful, who is open about, heading back into active addiction and then going back into recovery. I think it's very good. Do we need to know? Look, no, we don't. But is it helpful? Yeah, I really think it is. And she's always been very open. I think she's very brave. I wish her all the best. I applaud this, actually. We need more of this where people come out and normalise what's happening to so many people around the country.
I think...
Rob, what do you think?
I think it's good for her. I think by putting it out there, it's making her really take stock. And it's probably that kind of thing that shocks her into thinking, look at what I did. I was drinking hand sanitizer just to get that buzz. So hopefully she takes this and it can help her on her road to recovery. I'm a big fan of Fiona's. I love her. She's so hilarious. But as far as being honest, that's who she is. You listen to any podcast she's on, she's overly honest and in such a good way. And look, we should try and get her on here because I love her and I'd like to support her. But Robbo,
I reckon she would.
Yeah, well, let's ask her. But Robbo, now it's over to you.
Thank you, Robert. Change of pace now. We are going to look back on what's happened on this wonderful day, October 15th, throughout history, and we start in the US, the Statue of Liberty. It was on this day in 1924 that great statue was declared a national monument. Whilst it arrived in New York Harbour as a gift from France in 1886, it wasn't until this day, 38 years later, that President Calvin Coolidge made the declaration. And in 1951, on October 15th, I Love Lucy debuted on CBS.
Oh, wow.
The hit sitcom, starring Lucille Ball, ran for 6 years with 181 episodes. It became the most watched show in the US in 4 of its 6 seasons, and in 2012 was voted the best TV show of all time in a survey by ABC News in America and People magazine. And finally, in 1993, Nelson Mandela was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work on the peaceful termination of the apartheid regime and for laying the foundations for a new democratic South Africa. He remained an inspiration for many right up until his death in 2013, and his legacy still lives on. Back to you, Rob.
Thank you, Robbo. Well, the Netflix documentary My Octopus Teacher has wowed and moved audiences all around the world. It stars Craig Foster, who spent every day for almost a year diving and visiting an octopus with whom he developed a close bond. Take a look.
It's a hard thing to explain, but sometimes you just get a feeling and you know there's something to this creature that's very unusual. There's something to learn here. What she taught me was to feel that you're part of this place, not a visitor.
I seriously love this. And as a special treat, the man who was the director of photography is with us right now. Roger Horrocks is his name. Roger, welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
Fantastic to be with you guys.
Mate, can I just say, this documentary has blown up, especially here in Australia. What is it about this documentary that is captivating audiences?
Well, I think it's it's a very simplistic story. It's a love story. It's also a classic hero's journey, and I think COVID played a part in that as well, in terms of really making people more receptive and open to the core messaging of the film, which is really about connecting with nature and finding oneself in nature.
You know, Craig spoke a lot through this documentary about the changes that he went through as a person, you know, and you've worked with him on other projects. Could you see those changes happening, you know, within himself?
No, I absolutely could. I mean, we started working together first. I first met Craig in 2005. We made a film in the Okavango Delta about diving with crocodiles in 2009, and then 2 other projects. So, you know, I've known him for a long time. And then, of course, he had this kind of hiatus from filmmaking. He was very much burnt out. And then when I reconnected with him and saw the work that he was doing in the kelp forest and the cold water immersion, there was no doubt that, you know, he was going through a deep transformation internally. And it was quite an amazing thing to witness.
Roger, I've cried about a lot of things, but I've never bawled my eyes out more than I did for an octopus. I developed a very quick, close connection with that octopus. I certainly wasn't down there under the water. You were. Did you develop a bond and a love for it as much as we all do?
Absolutely. I mean, I've had the privilege of working with, you know, a lot of incredible animals around the world because of my career. And, you know, I can absolutely tell you that, you know, have personality. They are different. But this octopus in particular, we've been really struggling to film the sequence. And then when we found her, it just was like, you know, it's absolute like rock star. So magic, yeah. And one develops a very, very strong attachment.
Roger, how does it work? Because we know Craig was going down every day. Were you spending as much time with him, or were you just coming along sporadically to film the footage of him going down?
Yeah, I was very much. We had a period of about 2 years where we were quite closely together. for Blue Planet 2. But I was, of course, going off on assignments to Antarctica and other locations. He was staying and very much, Craig is a compulsive documentarian. He's always documenting things. So he would be going in every day. And then, we both live in Cape Town. When I was back from assignment and the conditions were good, then I would go in with him and we'd both be documenting, the animal at the same time.
We also saw scenes where, this octopus was being stalked and hunted by these pajama sharks. And as a wildlife videographer, I've obviously seen and captured fights and attacks between animals before, but having spent so much time with this particular octopus, was it ever tempting, and this is how I felt as a viewer, was it ever tempting to try and intervene?
It was massively tempting. And, obviously I do remember there were one or two moments where I almost wanted to stop filming. But obviously as a professional, my job there is to document things. So yeah, it is a difficult one. And in this one in particular, because of the time that we spent with her and knowing just how dangerous these pajama sharks were, it was very, very difficult not to intervene. But, as Craig says, it's a line you can't really cross.
Although, Roger, this is the one situation where the audience wouldn't have minded if you had interfered, because we all fell in love with that bloody octopus.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So, Roger, because you have been on so many different nature documentaries, as you said, people can connect with animals and that there is that massive connection. We all connected with it, and it was only over, an hour and a half or so. You, as you said, have spent a lot of time down underwater with her. What was it like when you saw her life come to an end? Was it as tough for you as it was for us?
Well, I think the beauty of a film is that it sort of concentrates. It takes that years of experience and kind of concentrates it and really builds that emotion. I memean, we were both very deeply upset by it, but obviously we had more time to prepare. In a film, you've only got just when you start to fall in love with her, it's kind of coming to an end. So it was deeply sad, but there was also that understanding that this is a natural life cycle, and of course her progeny will kind of take her forward.
Mate, I think this is probably the most random thing that anyone's going to say to you while you're doing the rounds and talking about this film, but I think Woolworths, mine in particular, is going to have a bone to pick with you, because my partner and I have seafood marinara every Wednesday, and since we saw this, we've stopped. And I tell you what, nothing was going to get between me and my seafood marinara that we were having at home, but this really has made an impact on me. Is that the strangest thing you've heard whilst talking to the media?
No, it's actually a common question, which is actually brilliant, because it just shows you that the film is fundamentally resonating with people to the point where I am never ever going to eat octopus again.
Now, before I let you go, I have to just bring this up. You've also filmed for David Attenborough's Our Planet. You've worked on Blue Planet 2. You've done work with Disney and National Geographic. And you've even done the Apple TV screensavers. What is it about underwater cinematography that draws you in?
It's just, the ocean has always been an incredible passion for me. I absolutely love being underwater. So for me, it's just the most natural kind of place to be in. And then to have this sort of intentionality and this mandate to go and document and bring the natural world home is incredibly motivational for me as well. So, and I think the thing I love about underwater more so than shooting in amongst the animals, you have to there's this dance that you have to do to get close to them, because that's they have to allow you to get close to them. You can't use a long lens. So yeah, I'm just incredibly fortunate that I've ended up in this career.
The film is made with collaboration with Sea Change Project, which you're a big supporter of. Can you tell us a little bit about what that organisation is aiming to do?
Well, it's fundamentally about trying to connect people, with nature, and specifically in the Cape, we have this, phenomenal kelp forest, which people really know nothing about. So the overarching ambition is to get UNESCO World Heritage sort of certification for that whole kind of area, which will then, make it a lot easier for us to protect certain areas and species and things like that. But there's a scientific element to it, and it's really all about connecting people with the Great African Sea Forest.
Well, to learn more about the Sea Change Project and what you can do to help, head to seachangeproject.com. And if you haven't seen My Octopus Teacher, make sure you check it out on Netflix. It is absolutely brilliant. Roger, thank you for joining us on the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Brilliant work.
Absolute pleasure, guys. Thank you very much.
It's the random life shot of the day. Where are you going today? You'll never know where you'll end up with the random life shot of the day.
Well, I can certainly tell you where we're going to end up today. We are going to go to Venice of the North, as is known, to make our way to Sweden's capital, Stockholm. Oh, the home of ABBA. Did you know the city also became the venue for the award of the first Nobel Prizes in 1901? Look at that beautiful city there. Lovely bit of cloud. It'll be cloudy, actually, today. It's only 11 degrees after a low of just 4 degrees. Oh, that sounds perfect. Let's get to some feedback for this very exciting, very fun Tipsy Thursday. Patrick says, well said. I'm so sick of everyone blaming the government for everything that goes wrong. A bit of a Rob fan there, talking about people in Victoria. Matthew says, fight, fight, fight. Oh, yeah, we are, Mary. Don't worry about that. Nicole says, Rob, I think your reality is really different to the average person. If you think someone on 180,000 is not rich, that's correct, Rob.
I just want to point out, Robbo, I did grow up in Housing Commission, so I know what it's like to live in... I did. I grew up in Housing Commission.
No, I know, but all of a sudden now, 180,000, I'd cut it. What the hell is wrong with nudes anyway, says Gay. Oh, Gay, you saucy mix. With the money. Gay is right for me. Hey, oh my God. Lol, Rob, speechless, finally. Oh yeah, when we badgered him with his own badgering, with his badger theme. That's from Illy there. Next up, as I wait, Malcolm says, oh, spare me. PC is out of control. I actually thought the ad was quite funny. Malcolm Blunt, you are correct. Yeah. It was funny. We should all have a bit of a sense of humour.
Thanks,
Lindley says, what wacky juice is Robbo on today? Oh, I'm not on anything, I promise. And Nicole finally says, it is a public road. Get over it. That's all for our feedback. Now let's cross back live to Rob McKnight.
Oh, thank you very much, David. Well, it's time to talk movies with our dear friend, Joe Casamento. Joe, hello.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Joe,
hello.
Oh, you're on the... Well, I'm on the Oyster Bay today, actually.
Oh, nice.
Oh, $180,000 a year. Fancy boy. Oh, well. I'm on the Coa Coast.
I don't get out of bed for $180,000. Thanks very much. Hey, Joe, it seems Chris Hemsworth can do no wrong.
That's right. Our very own Chris Hemsworth, who is just the golden boy of cinema and the golden boy of Australia, I think. He's moving from one ridiculously big action franchise to another, announcing today he'll soon star in the prequel of Mad Max. In true Chris fashion, he's so down to earth. He's said on Instagram he's pretty fired up after the confirmation he'll star in the prequel alongside Anya Taylor-Joy, who will play Furiosa. That was the role we remember made famous by Charlize Theron. Now, this one's set 20 years earlier, and George Miller, the Aussie director, did think about recasting Charlize, who's now 45, and using that amazing digital technology you can use to age them backwards. But he settled on Anya, who you might remember from Emma. She was also in The Young Mutants. So she's a fantastic up-and-coming actress that he's set his sights on. But Chris, he's amazing on Instagram. He's sort of said Mad Max was the pinnacle and a huge reason why he got into the business of telling stories in the first place. And the fact that he'll have the honour, and I quote here, of not only being directed by its original visionary and George Miller, but also take part in Furiosa's origin story is incredibly exciting. You know, any boy that grew up in Australia is, you know, this franchise meant the world to him. So good on Chris. Can't wait for that. Let's not forget that also won, I think, 6 Academy Awards. It was nominated for 10, if I remember correctly. So it's a good franchise to be involved in. Might even get him onto the Oscar podium. Who knows?
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's a great franchise. And Joe, talking about Back to the Future, here's a name to test our memories. Buck Rogers.
I know.
Buck
Do you boys
Rogers!
remember this? Yes, that's right. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I ever saw the series, but I do remember the name. We've got a little thing. I don't know if we've got time to play it. It will take you back.
Yeah, let's play
it. But let's play it just to remind you of who I'm talking about.
Was it Buck Rogers
Grey's
of the
Anatomy for Rob
24th
McKnight.
century or 25th century? I can't remember.
It
Buck Rogers.
was 25th century. Yes, it was 25th century. Did that take you back?
Full disclosure, Joe. Full
Never heard of
disclosure,
it?
Joe, I just want to quickly say something to you, and that is that I'd never heard of that before. I had to read that off the teleprompter. I'm assuming that was Grey's Anatomy back in the day for Rob McKnight's age.
No, I wasn't a Buck Rogers fan, actually. Thank you, Ben. Oh, how little you know me. No.
Oh, there you are. Well, you might become one.
How little we know Buck Rogers.
Well, listen, he is a bit of piece of pop culture history, boys. And he did the same creators as I think Battlestar Galactica did this one. And now a film company that are doing Dune, which is the big one about to be released, and also the same production company that did Godzilla, are putting the final pieces on a deal for the screen rights to Buck Rogers. And the interesting thing about this one, I think, is that unlike Marvel and all, Batman, Spider-Man, this is probably the last character that is not involved in some sort of corporate deal. So he's the last one left. Yes. So there you are. That'll be interesting.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one. Joe, now, apart from everyone in Melbourne, sorry, Ben, and sorry to our Melbourne viewers, what's hitting the big screen this week?
Yes, I think I was overexcited after last week's foray into the cinema. Can I remind you, the trial of Chicago 7, get to see it. It's amazing. I forgot what bad cinema can be like. You can catch this Steve Carell and Rose Byrne flick out in cinemas today. It's called, God, I've even forgotten the name.
Irresistible.
Irresistible. There you are. I knew it was something silly. It's a soft sort of political satire. It's kind of a bit late, I think, in 2020, where there's, a current political thing being played out. Here we've got this one from 2016. It's got a wonderful ensemble cast, and it follows a Democratic strategist who tries to help a local candidate. I think we can see it on screens there. I'll keep talking through it because it's not actually that great.
Although I do like Topher Grace, I've got to say. I'm a bit of a fan of his.
Yeah, he's fantastic in it. And as I said, the acting's great. It's actually written by Jon Stewart, who you'll remember from The Daily Show.
Oh, yeah.
And it does have this great cast, but it's
How many choc tops, Joe? You don't seem keen.
I'm only going to give it 2.5 choc tops.
All right,
it's probably not worth getting.
We have to run because entertainment is standing by. But quickly tell me about a Grease prequel.
Oh yes, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Grease, my favourite movie of all time. Paramount Plus have recently announced they have nabbed the series that's being developed about the Pink Ladies from HBO Max, and they're rebranding it from Rydell High to Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies. How cool is that? It's going to be on your screen next year as a TV series. And there's also a prequel, talking about prequels, in the mix called Summer Nights, I think. Summer Loving. Yes, that one's been made as well. But that's
that's fantastic.
So watch out for that one. I know they don't have some of the original songs, though. So they don't have Grease Lightning or Summer Nights. But they're trying. So, yeah, I know.
Well, it's fabulous, Joe. And thank you very much. We love your segment each and every week. And it's good to see that movies are still part of our life. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, now it's
Thanks,
time
Joe.
for a bit of entertainment. And Ben, what favourite show is returning? This is one of Amanda's best favourite shows. What's coming back, Ben?
Well, coming back, and this has just been announced, it's going to be a limited series, so it's not going to be coming back permanently, but it was originally on Showtime. It's coming back, and it's Dexter, and I never watched this show, so I really can't tell you too much more about this show, except for it was hugely successful, and people have been trying to get it back for years. And so I guess that's hope for the bounty hunters, right, Rob?
It is a very... it's a show about a blood specialist who actually kills bad people. And so he gets his serial killer tendencies out by killing those he deems were needing justice prevailed against them. So he's a serial killer with a conscience. So it's quite interesting. And we've got a teaser trailer for you.
Oh, here we go. And that is it.
Yeah, Amanda wasn't going to let us get away with not playing the trailer for that. Sorry, Ben.
Because she's a massive fan. Do we have enough time for me to quickly tell you with a Big Brother update?
Yes, please. Big Brother update.
Okay, so the housemates have been in lockdown for the last week. They are going into the house tonight. Sonia Kruger last night was on set and she was doing the rehearsal. She was looking fantastic there in New South Wales last night. And they had some of the crew members standing in with some of these housemates. So look, from early reports, we've already heard a few names of people going into the show. So we're going to have to try and keep our lips sealed this time, Rob, right? Or do we just tell everyone who they are?
We'll probably end up telling everyone who they are through you and TV Black Box, to be honest. But you've seen the photos of Sonia on set. How is she looking and how's it all looking?
100%. The woman can't do anything wrong. Like, she could look good in a garbage bag. And I tell you what, she looks fantastic. She's flown straight down from Holy Moly, which is going to be a massive show next year for Channel 7 for 2021. And also, just before I go, that's your Big Brother update. Channel 10 had their upfronts this morning, and we slightly teased that. We want to say some of the big shows are back. Where you've got The Bachelor in Paradise, you've got I'm a Celebrity.
No Bachelor in
Amazing
Paradise,
Race.
Ben. That was
The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
That's right. Sorry. Thank you for picking me up on that one, because whilst some of those shows were there, there was no mention of Bachelor in Paradise. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that it's not there, because watching the current season of The Bachelorette last night, you can see some of the people on the show not wanting to be interested in those bachelorettes. You can see it in their eyes. Send me to Slut Island. Send me to... Sorry, that's...
And Ben, what was also interesting about the 10 upfronts is that there's no real surprises, no Dancing with the Stars, but a couple of new shows, but nothing major. It was a fun presentation, wasn't it? They dressed up as the Wizard of Oz, but really, 10, it's business as usual.
Well, I actually think it did look fantastic. They obviously spent a lot of money promoting these new shows. We saw Amanda Keller dressed up as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. You know, they had a whole Wizard of Oz theme, and that is keeping everything in Australia. All of your much-loved reality shows will be being filmed in Australia, and that was a theme that they led with. And look, I think Channel 10 looks like it's going to have a fun year. Amy Poehler's got a show that is being translated into an Australian version, and that is also going to be quite amazing as well. So look, we're going to have more information on what's happening with Channel 10 for 2021. What do you reckon, Rob, next week on Monday?
Next week, we will go to it in depth, and you can also go to tvblackbox.com.au for all the latest there, because Kevin Perry has filed a report, and Ben, you will bring it to us next week as we get time to fully digress. It was happening while we were still on air, and Ben was very clever at being able to do both. Guys, thanks for a fun show. I love a bit of a Barney every now and again, but I am calling the bell. It's last rounds. It's time for the weekend to begin. We'll see you Monday on the Ben, Rob, and Robbo Show.
It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.